Now, we go on to the second piece of major news, of course, for the Vikings, which everybody's familiar with. Brett Favre, he's in bad shape to begin with, as we all know. Turns out he's got 2 fractures in his foot. And then he hurt his ankle, of course, in the last game. And there was big questions about whether he was going to start this game. Well, he did against the Patriots, but now there are new questions about whether he's going to start the next game because of this hit.
Through the hands of Randy Moss, and a flag is down, and so is Favre.
They're
just trying to get him
Watch
off
for the replay
deck.
now.
Is Steve Hutchinson. Tavares Jackson will start to crank it up, but Favre will get up.
Well, Steve Hutchinson, Myron Pryor is the one who comes in and puts the lick on Favre, and he was able to beat Steve Hutchinson, the all-pro left guard. Got a pretty good move and a clean shot. Right on Favre.
He is clearly shaken up badly, up under his chin. You know, people can say a lot of things, and they talk about coming out of retirement and all that stuff. You're looking at a 41-year-old man who's playing a game with the biggest, strongest, fastest athletes in the world that are trying to hit him on every play.
He could not look more out.
Well, he had a good look at it, and you see him come in with the helmet there, and you saw Favre grabbing his jaw.
He got up actually for a brief second and tried to play, and then realized there's blood gushing out of his chin.
Yeah, and you could see his linemen, it looked like they could just sort of pick him up too, and he wasn't coming up, and he usually does. And even there on the sidelines, you see him sort of on that table. He was just out of it.
And then they carted him off. He wound up getting 10 stitches on his chin.
Right.
That was a serious, serious hit. And as you see him being taken off, you're like, oh, no, come on, please, OVAH, please, over.
Keep that card like driving to Mississippi. Just keep going.
Just keep on going, man. You're so done. I've never seen a player in any sport so done.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. Then Tavares Jackson came in. We all know he had his problems when he was a starter, and he is not, over any long stretch looked really good. But he came in, he ran the offense, he ran the ball, he was mobile. It's like, how in the world? If you came here from another planet, but you understood football, you wonder why in the world this guy's starting and not Tavares Jackson, because he was like 2 totally different people.
Yeah, and look, the reason, of course, we all know is because Favre has been so good for so long. I mean, you got, of course, give him tremendous props, longest starting streak by 1,000,000 miles. And the reason he had that streak, not just because he didn't get hurt or played through injuries, is because he was good through all that time. I mean, God, they almost went to the Super Bowl. They were this close to going to the Super Bowl last year, not 3 years ago, not 7 years ago. And his arm wasn't done, and his competitiveness was not done. Unlike Marino, who at the end of his career couldn't throw past 7 yards.
Yeah. Well, and I have to tell you, Bill Walsh said, and I think it was when he was asked about Ronnie Lott and the 49ers letting Ronnie Lott go to the Raiders at that time, and it was criticized for it. He said, listen, in this business, I would rather be caught letting a guy go 1 year too early than 1 year too late, because
And the Vikings have definitely been caught.
He hurts you. He hurts you when you're there 1 year too late, but he doesn't hurt you necessarily for doing well for another team when you have somebody else to replace him. And I think that this is a perfect example of why Coach Walsh was right.
So, bottom line on this: does Favre come back next week to keep the streak going, and does Childress let him?
I think not. I mean, I don't. I mean, this isn't the kind of injury that in football, this one that happened yesterday is the kind of injury that, makes you miss the next game necessarily. I don't know if he concussed or not, but that alone. But the guy, he was totally ineffective, and he was back on his feet that weren't working. So I don't think you start him. And Childress, at this point, he doesn't care. I mean, Childress feels like he's going to lose his job. He probably will lose his job. He has to try everything and anything at this point.
Yeah, I don't think he can. If Childress wants to keep his job, which I suspect he does, he can't let Favre back on the field.
No.
Okay, and that's
put it this way: Brad Childress isn't going to be fired because he starts Tavares Jackson instead of Brett Favre.
Right, but if he lets Favre start all these weeks and they go 2-14, then of course he'll be fired. And look, it's probably too late for him anyway. But I hate to say it, but in the beginning of the year, I said Brett Favre will leave the field I said either on a stretcher or on a cart or something like that. Right. And he certainly has here. I don't know if he'll come back.
He keeps doing it. You keep being right.
Right, but if he comes back, he will leave again on a cart.
Right.
He can't do it anymore for very good reason. He's done it plenty long enough. He gave it a shot this year. And on a personal level, although the drama behind it is absurd and ridiculous, and I don't like it at all, right? But the guy's a fighter. You got to give him that.
Yeah.
And if it was me, I hope I wouldn't have done the drama every year.
Right.
But I probably would have gone to the point where they carted me off.
No, I totally understand it. Yeah. But now it's time. And I think he understands it. This isn't, I mean, you can see in that photo right there, the time to retire sign.
Oh, that's a perfect picture.
Yeah, that's the perfect picture. Yeah.
You know what? He's got to go hang out with Larry King. They both got to hang up the suspenders at about the same time.
Yeah, well, they are, it seems. So.
Right.